to a new documentary where we look at Tridha, a Waldorf school in Mumbai. Here, children aren't just rushing from one classroom to another, but they are dancing, painting, singing, knitting, and truly enjoying the process of learning. This school follows a philosophy called Waldorf education, which was started by Rudolf Steiner around the 1920s. This philosophy teaches academics through art, movement, and hands-on experience rather than traditional textbook learning. It believes in educating the whole child, head, heart, and hand, giving equal importance to intellectual growth, emotional well-being, and practical skills. This documentary is my attempt to capture this remarkable space where childhood is looked at holistically and where education isn't just about textbooks and tests. So let's get into the world of Tridha.
So the way teachers make learning fun for us is that they always teach us by first making us experience what we're going to learn. Like I remember when we were learning about rice farming, we first went into a paddy, we drove to a farm and we first planted the paddy, then came back, learnt about it, and 3 or 4 months later we harvested the paddy and ate our own rice, and that felt really nice to actually experience what you're doing while you're learning about it. And yeah, your turn.
So we started doing projects like in grade 5. Before that we've done activities, but they've all been really enjoyable. Like recently we had an activity of history, Indus Valley civilization. So we had to create our own civilization. We had to make like scripts of it and use our imagination to make things. So it was like really fun to do. It was really unique the way Tridha teaches us, and it's always been very enjoyable.
Okay, we don't have textbooks because the way we learn is that first teacher explains to us what we're going to write, and then in 6th grade we started taking notes. So we have these blank books in which they don't think of making us write in like straight lines. We have to write freehand.
So if we don't have a lined book, we can still continue writing in a straight line, because from so many years we've been practicing without lined books, and we don't have textbooks, but we still learn really well because teacher tells us stories about whatever we are learning. She makes us go out and observe whatever we are learning, so we learn it like in a really fun way.
So there are many ways to learn. You learn through your limbs, you learn a concept directly to your head. But what is important to us is to, whatever you do, learning or development of skill, wood carving, dancing, or physics, is try to connect to it. Try to see if there is something interesting for you, if there is something magic even in the theorem, in the concept, and then if you can link it to what you see around you, what you hear about the world. So academics, development of the human being, emotional development, all this goes hand in hand. The curriculum is also based on the age of the student. So for example, physics, whenever you learn physics in grade 8 and 9, this physics is also, you can connect it to what is happening inside. That's how we try to do. We wanted a school, an alternative schools where academics are not just academics with the growth of the student, with the growth of a teacher. Teachers also are learning in the class. It's all in one. It's not separated. The artistic activities are not extracurricular. They are part of the curriculum. And then then it creates a new human being with all the quality, with a human being with an individuality and capable of thinking also on her own, on his own.
So I've been learning in Tridha since I was in kindergarten, which makes it now I think 13 or 14 years. I think this is my 15th year. And overall, it has, like Tridha as a school has really helped cultivate my like eagerness to learn. And if I find something that I don't understand ever, I always like look around, ask questions, I read books about it, I search the internet for it, I ask like the teachers or sometimes my parents about it. So it has really helped, you know, make me yearn for understanding things more than, you know, just remembering and keeping that information in your head. Like what can I do with the information that I have received? It helps a lot with that. And as personally, I feel that Tridha has really helped me grow as a person. When it comes to interacting with people, I feel emotionally they are slightly more sophisticated than they would have been if I wasn't, you know, brought up in an environment such as the one I have been. So.
So many. You want one? Konark is making mountain. Big.
So the education in high school in Tridha, where we do not focus entirely on content, it's not chapter based education. We definitely believe in a certain approach towards studying the content, being able to assimilate it, understand it, develop a perspective on it, an opinion on it, and through all the subjects that we do, whether they're humanities or the science stream or even something like social learning, the various blocks we do, at every point of time we are making the learning experiential as much as an intellectual academic exercise. By experiential, it actually means being exposed to the content in a manner which is tangible, manifest, and then goes into a construct. The progression is of that kind, and the skill sets that are developed along the way are the ones that create the base for being able to analyze or to study any kind of content instead of being specific to a particular topic or a chapter.
And thus, by the end of 10-15 years at Tridha, have created a delicate, a student who has a delicate approach to life, who has a sensitive approach to life, and who looks at life through all the lenses possible, not just math, English, science, but through the lens of being with the same peers for years on end, being with the same teacher for years on end, understanding the nuances of how relationships will grow and evolve over time, because I've been with them for the longest time. Not every subject, not every teacher, not every child might be to my liking, but I can still be sensitive to them. I can still try to see where they are coming from, and I can still try to see what I can offer to them and what they can offer to me. So all this happens simultaneously at the same time in a Waldorf classroom, in a Steiner classroom. There's a subject coming, there's affection, there's warmth, there's sensorial work, there's sensitivity, and there's colors, there's music, there's singing, there's laughter. And you put all of this together and you have a whole child turning into a whole human being by the end of their time at school.
So my favorite subject is handwork because it's also really unique. Like I feel it's mostly we learn a lot of things in Tridha which they don't learn in other schools, like knitting, crochet, weaving. We started learning from grade 1, and even in kindergarten we've done embroidery, beading. So it's been like really fun for me, and all the subjects are really fun and nice, but I've always really liked handwork.
My favorite subject is woodwork, and the reason I like it is that so we started carving an egg in 5th grade. It was really hard because they gave us a block of wood and we had a knife and we had to sit and carve and try to make it into an egg. So it's really hard to try and get a round shape from a wooden square kind of a structure. And this year we have to make a bird, and I just think it's a very ethereal experience because it's like I imagine that there's a bird waiting inside the block of wood and you have to kind of like discover it, and like you can make your own shape, you can carve your own thing. So that's a very fun experience, and it's just different from what other schools do.
For us personally, which I also, we together also learnt through our children's education here in Tridha, was one thing was looking at the finer things, the finer nuances of education, not the bigger things. Trusting the process. And for me, the biggest thing is delayed gratification. Literally just read by heart information and pour it out without understanding. And this could be for theoretical subjects, it could be for anything for that matter. And the delayed gratification is what I think is needed for the future.
I also think that Tridha offers a lot more holistic approach to a growth of a child, whether it is in the form of education or the well-being of a child or also the growth of a child. So we are seeing it, our one kid is in grade 10 now, the other one is in grade 7 now. So if we look back at times when they started at Tridha in kindergarten to where they are now, we are very happy that the individuals which they are growing into are something very grounded, humble, at the same time able to pick up any challenge which is thrown their way. Plus I think what citizens we are looking at tomorrow are not people who are going to burn out. We need people who can sit back, think, unlearn, adapt. These are the qualities which are required for the future generations in whatever field they might go. So this is something which has been inculcated in them in the school here, as well as the parenting, and I think parenting and the school has always worked together in Tridha, and that's how it needs to be.